Oh, live a third time tonight. This will just be a revision of my first two lives, simplified. Tell you guys what is going on and kind of explain some of my crises, something like that. I don't know, that I've been having with Apple stuff for the past little bit. So we'll pick up with new relevance. My iPhone 3G that I got, unfortunately, is worthless. Turn it on. In an attempt to downgrade it to iPhone OS 2, it failed to do that. I downgraded it to 3, it worked, but I can't activate it. I put it up to 4, can't activate it. I can't activate it, so it's worthless. So, I'm at terms with it now because the hairline crack on the screen and the fucked up battery made this thing damn near useless anyway. So, yeah, and it's also so chipped up. So that's unfortunately not for it. Next, iPod Touch, 5th generation. This was my sister's. She gave it to me because she bought a new phone, so she doesn't need this anymore. And what I went ahead and did was it had iOS 9.3.5 on it. So I decided to jailbreak it and install Cool Booter and put iOS 6 on it as well. There's that. Let me see something here. I want to see something. Let me see something. I want to see something. Shit, I can't really get this to work too well. Go to brightness. Turn that down all the way. iOS 6. Jailbroken. iOS 6. There's Cydia. Notifications. It's great. I would like to have it in another color instead of pink. But whatever. It's fine. See what that old thing was. Freaking killer to me. These Retina displays were fucking sick. Yeah. Killer Retina display. Just a beast. So I have that. I mean, it's very, very awesome. And next, iPhone 4S. It is a 4S, not a 4. There's your band inside. And it runs iOS 6. iOS 6. When I got it, it had 8 on it, which was actually 8 on this runs quite well. but I updated it to 9 because I was like, I'll have the newest. 9 runs like pure shit on this thing. So I decided, hey, they are officially signing the IPSW for 6 still. I will downgrade to iOS 6 on this, which I did. Flawless downgrade. Just epic downgrade. Worked great. Very happy with that. So again, Retina display, beautiful Retina display, great. Perfect. This will be my phone, my daily driver. Unless I get one thing, which I will mention here later in the video. So those are my crazy Apple pickups since the last time I did a pickup for Apple. So just for comparison. I have my iPhone or iPod 4 running this. I'm actually going to start up all of these. Kind of do a comparison real quick. My 3 iOS 6 devices. It's impossible to really see what's going on, but I will tell you right now, this one has the best screen. Then that one, just slightly behind it. And that one, the screen on these earlier iPod touches they're not very good screens. But yeah. Something I might do. Point it down. Try to. Oh, I opened up Game Center, damn it. Damn it, I'm hitting things I shouldn't be. Close all. That's a shitload of them. You suck. Close all these out. Oh, good. Where's that? There's 3 iDevices. Right there. Isn't that cool? And that cool. Now, for my personal testing purposes, let's see some stuff here. Oh, can I open the page? Hey, dude! Let me close the tab out. all about the same. Yes, but just so it doesn't bring up that freaking pop-up. Oh, it didn't this time. It did that. Shit. Damn it. I cannot get this down pat. Whatever. About the same though. Across all three. So I'm having trouble doing this. It's not easy to do. All these at once. Because this nail of mine is so long that it's not hitting the stuff on this one. Or I just, this is tough. About the same. Bring it back. Phone, which this is the only phone here. I'll do messages. This one was quickest, followed by this and this. Started. Shit, I need to do that. Okay, but whatever. I've opened all those up. Still the same though. I mean, it is a small window of difference. But this one is fastest, followed by this and this. I need to cut my damn nails. You can tell that this thing is starting to slow down with this update. It still is smooth. You can notice if you really look closely, there's a slight amount of lag. Like we're talking a little bit. This thing was meant for this, so it runs really smooth. This thing runs really smooth too. Not as fast as it would on iOS 5, but nevertheless, the difference is so marginal between 5 and 6 on this that it's quite nice. Since I'm not going to keep the internet on these other two, I'm not going to bother to do the App Store. You can definitely see some delay. On the clock on this one. These two are about the same. This one is a bit faster, but for normal use, you're not going to notice the difference between these two. When you're doing this side-by-side comparison, you do notice it. But for actual use, these are about equal. Just you wouldn't notice the difference. But with this one, you can definitely tell it is slower. Weather. Whatever. Weather. The fuck? Why won't the weather work? The weather app does not work. Quick as hell loading on the maps. I have a ton of apps in the background and this thing's still kicking. Remember, this one is also, these two are also Siri enabled, so if I hold down. Oh shit. Maybe turn on Siri. Say, the son's got a Gibson. Say, the son's got a Gibson. Say, the son's got a Gibson. That may be say the funniest got a Gibson. That may be beyond my abilities at the moment. I don't need to use Siri though. Yeah, truly a solid OS, even on an older device like this. From what I've heard, the 3GS on iOS 6 is not desirable. But it's not as bad as like the iPhone 4 on 7. I'm certain my dream phone is an iPhone 4 on iOS 4. I think that will be freaking bomb. But this is really good too. This is pretty much an iPhone 5. I mean, we're talking smooth. Now, the thing with Cool Booter on here, though, I'm going to restart this. Power off. I could do a power test between these two. I want to, actually. But I want to see what it'll do first. If I know that it'll boot into iOS 6, it's actually still shutting off. But you barely can notice it. This one has more apps. I have Twitter, YouTube, Capture, and PE Lite, and regular and display recorder. These two are stock because they were just done today. Let's turn this on. New Apple logo. Turn that off. Now, set these to the side here. But I'm telling you, man, we're talking badass right there. Smooth it out. We're talking beast. I'm not covering up the cameras on this because it's so fucking cool. Flashlight. It's fucking bright. Which is nice. I'm telling you, man, this is as good as a fucking phone can get, man. It's great, great, great. You're talking beastified. 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 Just badass. I love it. Here you can see their modern iOS. Recently. Lock it. And change the default background here, just so you can kind of see the comparison. Also do a bit more of a speed comparison, because like I said, these two are almost on par. So I will do a speed comparison between the two. So let me change the wallpaper. Look at how laggy that is. Look at how long it took there. I'm not sure if you saw it to take it. Set it to their default. Still. Set it. Set both. Look at how long it's taken. There you go. Now I set it. Yeah. Go. There's my Cydia stuff, which I'll make a folder for. Let's see. Folder. Just let me rename it Cydia. God, it is. I'll just name it Jailbreak. Put Cool Booter in Jailbreak. So there you go. Really gives you a perspective here when you see them right next to each other like this. Let me calendar. It had it preloaded, so that's an unfair test. I'll close out all background applications. See that? You can't see shit. But it is, this now has the edge. On iOS 6, this thing was faster. Barely, but it was faster. Now, the older device has the edge on this one. See that? You could see that one. Shit, it's not working well. Oh. Locked up. Don't be able to see the flaw in the design. See how it takes longer? Maybe it's partially due to animation. Okay, fun. You notice the lag when it comes down? Fun. I'm going to go to the second one on both of these. That way it doesn't do that. It went twice there. Oh my god. Suggestion server. No, don't do this. Tips! There's an app called Tips. Much faster on there. I've tested that. So just look at how quick that was. Settings. One. Again. I'm gonna start over. Like that, this is more efficient to do. Multitasking and closing is more efficient. Here. Shit, wrong one. See that difference? What I'm gonna do? I'm gonna try and turn out my light. Let's see if it'll make it easier. Nah, it actually makes it harder for you to see. I'm gonna turn the brightness down on these things. That thin line, man. It's a bit brighter. Bit brighter is fucking up with this thing. What with the light off, these things are just like they're just white. Unfortunately, my webcam just does not like bright light at all, so it's really not handling this well. I'm try to come in as close as I can, so I cast a bit more of a shadow on some stuff. Okay, there's no iBooks in this one. Safari. Both are. This one's not internet connected. Let's go. Oops. But the thing is that we know that it's faster. Look. See how long that took to load right there. Talking a long time. Music. Music came up right there. Now music's there. And it's coming up with their advertisement or whatever. Apple Music. Videos. Came right up there. Up there. Camera. There. There. Ha! See how fucking slow that is in comparison? Let's do that again. That's a bit delayed. Ah, shit. It's kind of hard. Once it's preloaded, it opens up instantly, and actually it's quicker on this one because it doesn't have to do the animation. But that's still saying something. I'll close out every background app. Both of them. Again, I'm making this a fair comparison, or trying to. Close out all that. Oh, I went into that. Okay. Okay, what was I doing again? I was doing the camera. We all know this is faster. See? That is an example. That is, as far as I'm aware, or concerned, rather, the best possible example of this. Photos. Let's open that up too. Shit. Okay. Up instantly. There. There's this little thing, which is that little thing. Let's see. Do calculator. Up instantly. Until the letters loaded, it was unusable. Stocks. Bam. Do you see how much of a difference there is in speed? Here's the Notes app. There. Welcome to Notes. Not now. Turn all that shit off. Notes. No notes. They're both preloaded. They will come up instantly. Close out all apps again. This is a great comparison. It's really showing the truth. Here right now. I was in Notes. Bam. See what I mean, folks. Reminders. Instant. Reminders there. I myself didn't even realize it was this fucking drastic. Weather. Instant. Weather there. I myself actually believe that this is a better weather app. But regardless, it's slower. That's the thing. It is slower. If we were to have another iPhone 4S right next to it with iOS 9 on it, it would blow it out of the fucking water. This thing runs iOS 9 better. To an extent. The newsstand is gone, so we can't use that. Oh, do clock. Bam. There you go. It's just impressive to me how much faster. Older device. Same level of OS is. I think this came with iOS 5. The second newest was that iOS 6. This one would technically actually been iOS 7. So I'm wrong there, but whatever. Close enough. You can see what I mean, though. You can see truly the speed differences between these two devices. And this one's a year newer than that one. And that's more powerful, everything. More RAM, more everything. Bigger screen, bigger everything. And this was really, this phone on iOS 6, this is the legacy of Steve Jobs right there. That's what he envisioned. Right there. It's impossible to fucking see. Brilliant, man. Knew what the fuck he was doing. Let's check this out. Cool booter. Oh. Yeah, that's a problem with the damn jailbreak. So I have to go into the Phoenix thing, which is what I use for my jailbreak. Start jailbreak. Find it out. Process. Cool booter. Change. Start up. So unfortunately, it will by default boot up into iOS 9 here. Passcode, which you do not need to see. Now that I've re-enabled my jailbreak, storage almost full, whatever, I don't care. Full booter. Boot. And then it will boot. Unlock your device. And it will go. It'll go and do its thing. Sorry about the fan. Very sorry. And then I have to enter the passcode again, which it actually does transfer your passcode. I didn't enter it on iOS 6. It was already enabled. Now I'm back on iOS 6. Right there. The Superior OS. Right there. We want to add this guy to the fray. The Beastify. It's my 3 device. So that is my iOS, or Apple rather, pickups. And again, the failure of my, I don't know where I put it, but the fuck up of my 3G, which is sad. I'm pissed. I am pissed. Yeah. Like having it on that, it's like, it is fucking great. It really is fucking great. Just amazing. They have made great OSs in the past. Much now, and just the industrial design of this, everything about it's just wonderful. Apple used to be on the fucking ball. Steve Jobs died, and then Scott Forstall got taken out. That's where they fucked up. That, my friends, is there where waff. That's where they fucked up. Was getting rid of Scott Forstall, because he was the one who was proponent. He was a proponent of this layout and of performance comes first. He was really all that was left of Jobs' influence. In reality, look up iOS 6 2018 2017. Any active iOS 6 users in 2017? Mac Rumors, which I love the site. I've got 2 iOS devices, one with iOS 6.1.4 and one with 8.2 for Apple Music. My iPhone 5 is on iOS 6 for primarily only phone, text, a few stable apps, including Running app, and of course the Music app, which I love on iOS 6. What about you? Are you still loading onto iOS 6? What is your main reason for sticking with it in 2017? The answer seems no. I wish I could. I'm using iPhone 4S and iPad 2 with A5 chip, and with iOS 9, there's no slow. With iOS 6, my devices work perfect. All my older devices have been on the original firmware, like you. iOS 6 is flawless, and an iPhone 5. I was able to purchase an iPad 4 here on the forums with iOS 6, and it 2 runs smooth. I think iCloud, this is the same guy who said your answer seems no. I think iCloud is the best thing on Apple devices, so I use iOS 9, iOS 7, and 8 are slow the same. My iPad 4 is on iOS 6.0.1, and my old 4S is on 6.1.3. I love my iPad, but ever since I got my MacBook, I don't really use it much. I still love iOS 6, but recently support for it has taken a giant decline, and it's not as useful as it was 3 months ago. I still love the design, and the way the design ties into the functionality makes it miles better than what iOS is today. Sadly, I don't think we will ever see Apple in that direction again, and it really is a shame. It is. All the whiteness and dull icons in iOS 10 just make it so boring to use. It's better than Android, but nothing will ever outrule iOS 6 except iOS 6 itself. If I knew how to work code in iOS, I would personally work on iOS 6 and make it even better. I'm hanging on to iOS 6 and OS 10 Mavericks. I can't deal with all the iOS 10 and Sierra nonsense. Main device is 32 gigabyte iPhone 5 with iOS 6.1.4 down from iPhone 6 Plus. I've jailbroken it with minimal requirements, SSL patch, and MC settings, and it's going super strong. For compatibility, I can download whatever apps I need on the 6 Plus, and they can do the last compatible version on the 5. It's got all the necessities. Facebook, Kik, Yelp, eBay pages. See how much screen space is wasted with iOS 10. And he gives a great example. He has text messages, and on iOS 6's lock screen, like I'll just bring it up here for you guys. Of course, you see that lock screen. But of course, remember, he's using an iPhone, so his screen would be this size, so he'd be seeing this. There are 8 text messages available to display on this screen without scrolling down at all. On the iPhone 6 Plus, which is even bigger than this thing could sit in the screen part of it. He has 3 that he can view when he first turns it on without scrolling down. You can barely see a 4th where it just says messages. On a bigger phone. That is a great example right there. That is a waste of screen space. Just press for more, press for more. It is incredible. I'm going to try and share this. See that? Even marks them. Isn't that incredible? And that phone is a 6 Plus. That's a 5. That's much bigger than that one. Isn't that fucking incredible? Really, really does go to show how fucking much of a downgrade they've gone on. I'm sure if you bought an iPhone 10 with iOS 11, it'd run fine, but it will not ever match this in pure usability and functionality. This is what they call a PM, I think it is. PM, like productivity enhancing machine. This is a PM. Modern iPhones are not a PM because they don't have such functionality. They are not designed primarily to increase your your productivity. These things were made to slow down, or not to increase the time. To make the time shorter, that you have to wait all this shit. It was meant to make your workflow simpler and easier and make everything more enjoyable. I don't know. They've gone away from that. Same with computers and tablets and all of this. And this guy says, who's the thread starter, in response to, I'm hanging on to iOS 6 and Mavericks. I can't deal with all the 10 and Sierra nonsense. I need Sierra for work, so I don't have a choice there. I've been able to stick with iOS 6 because I'm not much of an iCloud gaming or social media user. I also really value Genius playlists and mixes, so since Apple has axed them on iOS, even more reason to stay where I am. Saw this video online about how to make Yosemite looks like Mavericks. Presumably this would also work for Sierra. I haven't done it yet, but you might want to give it a try if you like the if the 10.9 look is important to you. And I think the iCloud, whatever thing in response to that, the iPhone or iCloud is whatever best thing on Apple devices. The only thing related to iCloud I rely on heavily is iTunes Match. If iTunes Match were to stop working on iOS 6, that'd be the end of my days with iOS 6. Yes, I have quite a bit of an Apple collection. Devices, running pre-iOS 7 except for one, which was a black Verizon iPhone 4, 8 GB on iOS 6.1.3. Well, I updated that one because I had the exact same phone, same color, same carrier, same storage, even same firmware. So I was like, why not have another one running a different software? So I updated that one. But my devices I actually use and not for my collection. But it's in my collection now. Black Verizon iPhone 5, 16 gig on iOS 6.1.4, Black iPad 4, Wi-Fi version 3, 32 gigabytes on iOS 6.1.3, yellow/white iPod Touch 5th generation 32 gigabyte on iOS 6.1.3, a little more rare to find, especially for cheap. Black iPod Touch 4th generation 32 gigabyte on iOS 6.1.3. All of them are jailbroken, and I enjoy them that way because they're useful for me. And then in response to I needed Sierra Ferraric and all of his thing about how to make OS 10 look like that, whatever. If you can only correct how Jony, I'm not sure if it's Jony Ive or Johnny Ive. I was gonna say Johnny, but Jony, whatever. I'll say Jony. Jony Ive ruined the red, yellow, green stoplights from their dumbed down, overly simplified appearance back to the lickable buttons that took real talent to create and made sense with their 3D appearance for indicating they were functional and clickable. I cringe when I see the flat design stoplights, which look like information only and not clickable. Shoot. I wish I had an iPhone 5 on iOS 6. I mean, I have an iPhone 5, but it can't be downgraded as far as I know. It's been sitting on 7.1.2 for years and finally went to 10.3 to get ready to sell it or something. I do have a 3GS that I recently upgraded from 4.0 to iOS 6. Not actually a good move. Simply to be able to use iMessage. Okay, whatever. It's my secondary phone that I love to use to unplug from social media and such. It has the basic apps plus 2K songs on a playlist and some older games. No FB and stuff, etc. It also gets noticeably better reception than my iPhone 7. Just today I found an iPhone 6S running iOS 6 for sale on Swappa and picked it up. I had one in 2013 running 6.1.2, and it was great. Sadly, it was updated to 7.x and was then sold. So I'm back where I was then, haha, but iOS 6 was so darn stable, I don't know what subversion has though. That 3GS is rock solid, stable too. More so than iOS 4, I think. At least 4.0 and 4.1, and the battery still holds 100% of its charge, even after 8 years. 2009 production date. Goddamn, spit on the screen. As indicated by Coconut Battery. This photo pisses me off, and it's a photo of a Mac OS application, which is Coconut Battery, and he's running on a modern version of Mac OS 10, and it says this photo pisses me off. I'm reminded how Jony Ive's team ruined OS. I'm going to assume he means iOS, or no, just Mac OS, whatever. Fuck it. By dumbing down the stoplight button's appearance, as shown all gray here for whatever reason, as well as at first glance, quick anyone answer is Mac or iOS selected. That's a good one. That's a great example. Check that out. Which one do you think is selected? iOS or Mac? Which one is selected? If he has the graphite look on, if he had that turned off, it'd be easier to tell. But that's a good example, a very good example. I can't see what he said underneath it. Seems like iOS is selected here as it has the darker non-default background color. Good guess. I won't be able to answer. I refuse to downgrade past Mavericks, which retained the intuitive 3D look as to what's depressed. Not really a guess. It's what is in style. In that style. Yeah. So the iPhone 4S came in today, and it's an odd one, that's for sure. It's completely mint, not a scratch on the thing, nor any dust in the speaker ports. It doesn't look like it was ever used. And sure enough, I fired up Coconut Battery yet again, and it has 6 charge cycles. Yes, 6. It's also on the shipping firmware from its date of manufacture, which is quite strange. It is running iOS 6.1.0, and also it has an iOS 6 picture on the home screen on the box, and it was manufactured in February 2013. But it's also a 16 gigabyte model, and not the usual 8 gigabyte model that was shipping after the iPhone 5 was released. I forgot they continued making both the 8 and 16 gigabyte models after the iPhone 5 came out. It also means it was never updated too. Very nice. Though I would not mind having cellular. I would not mind having 6.1.1 on there for the cellular issue fix for the 4S, but oh well. Again, man, he shows off a picture of it. A picture of that beautiful Retina screen. The Retina screen with those old icons and that old look, just drop dead gorgeous. Just incredible. Fucking incredible. It's just nice. In this one, the screen is even bigger. I think it's even nicer myself. Just, you're talking fucking amazing. These Retina displays on these older versions, just it is just absolutely stunning. In comparison, this one still has a 640 by 480 screen, if I'm correct. And you can tell it still does look nice, of course, but it's not as colorful and bright and vivid and clear as these Retina displays. I'll tell you, if you can get an iPhone 4S, 4S, 5, or iPod Touch 5 running iOS 6, jump on it, man. Cool, I didn't know about this coconut battery app. Just added my iPhone 5. Haven't used it so much, so I'm a little surprised the cycle count isn't higher. Whatever he just says about that stuff. I recently had to delete my music and reset iTunes Match on my phone, which is why I have so much space back. I usually keep it just below 3.5 gigabytes available storage to avoid Apple from downloading the update when I am plugged in with Wi-Fi. Until I get back to that amount, I have to charge Wi-Fi off. A little bit of a hassle, but worth it for the great experience I get with the device each day. Has anyone else noticed that on the software update page it still offers 8.4.1? Kind of bizarre. Yes, it does. And I'll say, I may pick up another one to put on 8 because 8 still runs good. It's not as good as 6, but 8 runs great on it. I wouldn't say great, but it runs. It's totally usable, but it's not as fast. And then in response to that picture, what a sight for sore eyes. Looks so inviting to press and use. True. It's still just insane to me that they have downgraded so much. I don't know. It's just strange. So much. Okay, my stream's starting to lag a bit. We're going to end it here soon, but I'm using my iPod Touch 5th generation, still on 6.0. Bought it as soon as it got in my country, December 2012, and never updated it. Works awesomely, but I cannot check charge cycles for some reason because coconut battery does not read them. Yeah, iOS 9 in response to the iOS 8.1 still being there, or 8.4.1. Yeah, iOS 9 had some kind of change that required you to be on iOS 8 in order to do the update over the air. So if you're on an older firmware, you have to update to iOS 8.4.1 first if you're doing an OTA update. I believe that Odysseus OTA tool uses the fact that Apple still signed 8.4.1 via the OTA interface to allow for downgrading to iOS 8 from 9 and later on supported devices. Yep, my 4S keeps prompting me to update to iOS 4.4, 8.4.1. I can't read these fucking version numbers as well. The bad part is that aside from resetting it, there isn't a way to remove the downloaded iOS update, hogging a couple of gigabytes of space. Bad move on Apple's part. I think iOS 7.2 was the first to allow you to remove downloaded updates, though they usually come back anyway. I could just jailbreak it, then use a Cydia tweak to remove the OTA and keep it off. But then I could easily reset it. But then I couldn't easily reset it. Though it might be worth jailbreaking to use Odysseus OTA and get it up to 6.1.3 from 6.1.0. That's the only reason I would. You know what else is nice about the design of the 4 and the 4S? They can sit. They can stand up. I kind of mess with it, but they will stand up. They're not usable that way. But if you, for some reason, wanted to display something, you could set it like that. or on its side. You could have it like set on its side if you're watching a video or something. Have to flip it this way so it's not on the buttons. You can set it on the side like that. These things are so thin, it's not possible. This thing has the curved design and it's thin, so it won't do that. But yeah. This thing is actually decently heavy, which is kind of a drawback in comparison to these ones. But yeah. And then this guy says in response to what I just read, as far as I know as well, there isn't a way to remove the OTA update other than restoring. That's why I avoid leaving the Wi-Fi on when charging my iPod Touch for the generation. It is a shame that Apple didn't implement a way of deleting that before iOS 8, I think. Now, fortunately, we can, but with 128 gigabyte devices, as I only have 83 left on my iPad, 105 left on my iPhone, it isn't necessary as it was with my iPod Touch with 4 gigabyte left only. I keep my old 3GS in my car strictly for music. I love the music app from iOS 6. It's so much easier to navigate than the current one. That's why I use it in my car. My old iPhone with a 32 gigabyte model, so there's plenty of space. I'm looking forward to many more years of solid usage from it. On space, on storage, let me see what these ones have. Awesome. Okay. Check for updates. Good for me. This one, the iPod Touch 4 is an 8 gig. The iPod Touch 5 was a 16 gig, and the 4S was an 8 gig. Small. I'd love to be able to get like the biggest one that you can get, like have this thing be maxed out to the fucking max. But unfortunately, I don't think I'm not gonna buy something I already own. Such a small thing. Snappy as hell. Great fucking OS. Every time I have to adjust my iPhone 4 or iPod 3, both with iOS 6, how does an iPod 3 have that? It maybe means 4 or an iPad 3 or something. Both with iOS 6, which I use for household video security monitoring, being the Anything app. It's such an amazing pleasure to use. It's so apparent how colors, borders, font types, lines of varying thickness, and button shapes are used to almost effortlessly guide the user for focusing on whatever task they're performing. A stark contrast to the minimalist, white out thin font, monochrome, unintuitive, flat interface that Joni and Timmy have stuck us with for the past agonizing 4 years. So Joni imagined, I'm not sure if it's Johnny or Joni, I apologize if it's Johnny, or if it's another pronunciation. So Joni imagined that this world knew how to use a touch phone by 2013 and no human would ever need the knuckle-dragging UI prompts that were the cornerstone of Apple UI up until after iOS 6. I'd love to put an iOS 6 enabled phone in front of someone whose first introduction to a touchscreen phone started with iOS 7, 8, 9, or 10 and see what they think. I only use iOS 6. I looked at iOS 7 during beta via the net and YouTube, etc. I knew before release that I hated it, etc. The only time I have used iOS 7 Plus is when I have boot loop my devices and needed to restore, but I've gone back to iOS 6 on those devices or got iOS 6 compatible devices as soon as I could, and I am running iOS 6 on an iPad 2 and iPhone 4S. I'll probably get an iPhone 5 when I can get one on iOS 6, so yes, I am an iOS 6 user in 2017. Still using iOS 6 on a iPod Touch 4G, and I might possibly install it on the iPhone 4 that is currently running iOS 6. Anyway, iOS 6 still supports everything I need: Twitter, YouTube, and YouTube Downloader, Reddit, iCloud, photo sharing, some games, and a plethora of jailbreak tweaks. I'm reading really fast right now. There's 5 pages. Holy fucking shit. I'm going to look up how to downgrade. Downgrade iOS 7 4. Downgrade.
What's going on, guys? This is the iOS Archive, and today I'm going to be showing you how to downgrade your iPhone 4 from any version down to any version that you want. So basically, you can go to any unsigned version of iOS. So if we want to open up Google Chrome and go to ipsw.me, we can there. I have my iPhone 3.1, 4.0.2 custom IPSW. So
what? Yeah, like I said, my dream device would be an iPhone 4 with iOS 6. That, in my opinion, was their absolute pinnacle. This was still great, but that was their pinnacle. Was that iPhone 4? Just perfect.
during this process, just to prevent an exploit failure, which does happen sometimes. If
in doubt. I have an iPhone 4S with iOS 6.1.3, and every time I use it, I fell in love. The beauty of design of iPhone 4S combined with that of iOS 6 has no equal. Sometimes I want to sell my ugly iPhone 6 and return to use it daily. Not a bad idea. Nope, I did try diluting iOS 6 and 7 on an iPhone 4, but it didn't work. Now I use an unjailbroken iPhone 6 on 10.3.2 with iOS 6 icons and a weather widget with iOS 6 linen or lightning, whatever the fuck. There's some things about jailbreaking. Ugh. Okay. Yep. The design of these just, I know I'm obsessing over it, but it's just the fucking truth. Using this thing now on iOS 6 is a fucking pleasure, man. Fucking pleasure. That's all I'm gonna say. It's just a pleasure. Use this absolutely wonderful device, and this one, and even this one, and whenever it works, to an extent, this one, because it was so fucked up. If it had a fully charged battery, the battery was still good on it, didn't have the hairline crack, this would have been a pleasure to use as well. And if it was on like iPhone OS 3, because iOS 4 on that thing is not very great. So, we're talking cool shit here. Now, I'm going to go into the App Store. Telling me I need to update. Sign in to my Apple ID. I'm going to turn this off. The webcam. But it's very very incredible. Okay. I'm going to go to the App Store and start to download my apps. Some of them, they're older versions, but let's go down to the very bottom. F18 Lite 64. Okay. Let's see here. Pocket Edition Lite, I want that. And I want YouTube. Let me go up. Yeah, YouTube. There you go. Download an older version of this app. I think I can also get an older version of Twitter and Skype, which is nice because I still use Skype a bit. Talking Tom and Ben News. I think that's pretty funny. F-18 Carrier Landing Light. YouTube capture. I will tell you, as much as 2013, I think that was a bad year. At least for me, it was a bad year. In 2013, for my birthday, I got the blue one of this, which I still have, and I'll go get it. I will go get it. Obviously, it's not usable anymore. Got the blue. Look at how bent that is. I got the blue one of this, and it was on iOS 6. And I was like, I remember being very, very impressed by it when I got it. I was like, this is an upgrade. It's bigger, looks colorful and bright. I remember that was my main, it had a better camera. I was extremely impressed by this thing when I got it. It was a massive upgrade for me. And running this OS, I think this is really excellent running this OS. Only problem I have is shit. I'm taking a different fucking apps. To me, the only thing that I really have a problem with is like for Minecraft Pocket Edition Lite here. See how there's the black bars on the side? That's the problem I have with this. Survival mode. Make a little world and light. I will be able to use Cydia Impactor to put my Pocket Edition in my display recorder on as well. Yeah. So there you go. It's great. YouTube app crashed. Crashed again. Crashed again. Crashed again. Twitter, let's see. It's a modern. That's the reason why I was gonna say it's a modern version of Twitter, like flat design and everything. I remember having my original one of this. When I tried to download the newest version of it, it was still the old look and everything. I had iOS 5. I had iOS 5 on my original one of this until January 2017 when I did a complete restore of it, which put it up to iOS 6. I didn't even know it was iOS 6. I thought it was still 5. I couldn't tell the difference. interesting. Remembering. Unfortunately, I can't get the YouTube app to work. Oh, it got farther that time. It brought up something about YouTube, trying YouTube Music, but then it crashed. I'm going to look this up. Also, real quick, I might extend the stream a bit longer. I'm going to find that Mavericks link that guy gave me. Here. Of course, I have to see if my partitions are large enough. So this will be a little bit, but I'll just go to Safari and look up YouTube or YouTube, whatever. And it's still modern enough that it works fine. Look up my channel. Live now. Go watch. Oh man. Watch Minecraft Pocket Edition here, bud.
Hey guys, Minecraft Pocket Edition. Oh, here we are. The Zama statue, which is back being the hero bride.
Be in my John Chapman table. That's cool. The speaker's still kind of teeny, but that's cool. I like it. Yeah, they got it down good. They really perfected a craft here. That's 10L Capitan, iMac 20-inch, early 2008, 2.4 gigahertz Intel Core 2 Duo, 3 GB 800 megahertz DDR2 SD RAM, startup disk Mac HD new, ATI graphics, ATI Radeon, HD 2400, XT 128 megabyte in my serial. Storage, my partitions. Oh my God, look at that. Got 3 gig free. I don't know. Yeah, I won't be able to do that then. Whatever. Mountain Lion's good enough for me. Could not sign in. I cannot get iMessage to work at all on anything. I don't know why. I really don't know why. I took a risk and downgraded. I'm reading from this one again. I took a risk and downgraded my iPad 3 from 9.3.5 to 6.1.3 using Cydia and Cool Booter. Oh my gosh. 6.1.3 is buttery smooth on my iPad 3, almost here. I have not experienced this in years. And the animations are so much quicker than the modern iOS versions. I think I'm going to hang out with 6.1.3 for a while. So Safari is still usable. And the wonderful no lag keyboard. This is too much goodness again. That's a good one. That iPad 2 on iOS 9, like you'll click the keys, type, but nothing will happen. And then like sometimes up to 20 seconds later, you'll see it like it's typing on its own, but it's laggy even then. It's just, it's the iPad 2 on that stuff. It's great. I still use an iPhone 5 running iOS 6.1.4 as my daily driver. Only has a few apps on it and does everything I need it to. Phone, text, music, camera, and basic internet. I love iOS 6 so much I cannot be imagined being forced. I cannot imagine being forced to use whatever crap they put out today because it's always worth mentioning. The music app is fantastic. I recently found so lucky a device I've always wanted on eBay: a 64 gigabyte black iPod Touch 5th generation running 6.0.1 because I could never get to a 64 gigabyte, 64 gig iPhone 4. This was the next best thing, and it is a joy to use. I also use my iPad 3 6.1.3 every morning for Twitter, and my iPad 2 6.1.3 again as my alarm clock. Huh? Why do you use a fucking iPad only as an alarm clock? What the fuck is that about? Okay, whatever. They don't get used very often, but I also have a 32 gigabyte iPhone 4 or iPhone 5 6.1.4 with a failed baseband and battery issue. A 16 gigabyte iPhone 5, again, a 4S 6.1.3, which is 16 gig, and any gigabyte iPhone 4 6.0.1, and a handful of things running older than iOS 6. On December 27th, 2017, King SH007, who is now suspended. So since about a week ago, living with iOS 6 got a bit harder. Google Images no longer enlarge in Safari, and some websites like Apple's refuse to load. Since a few months ago, Disqus, whatever, stopped working on Safari as well. Using a new browser like Puffin fixes this, but you lose the convenience of only having one browser. This guy says, which device? Apple loads fine on my 4S/5. However, images on Google will not enlarge, so I'm sure that can be tweaked. And then in response to that, this guy says, I've stayed with Mavericks on my MacBook Air because I just can't tolerate the look and feel of the Fisher-Price OS X after Mavericks. But similarly, Google Images no longer load in Safari and Mavericks. This guy says, firstly, yes, you can tether the downgrade. You can tether downgrade the iPhone 4 to 6. Secondly, Safari 9.1.3 on Mavericks works perfectly fine for me. Maverick still has a great deal of support, so I don't know what your deal is with it. Which it still supports a lot of the modern Adobe apps, Spotify, a decently new version of iTunes. Some browsers still support it, like I think Chrome does even. And Discord and a few other modern things. Which is quite nice. I know, actually, if you guys have seen Warpuddy's video that he did on the classic Mac stuff for me, if you notice, he has a 2011, I think it is, or 12 iMac that runs Mavericks. He never upgraded it past Mavericks. Even though he has a 2013 one that runs High Sierra. But the one that he had, but he got that after he made the video, but up to that point he was on Mavericks still. Just downgraded my mom's old iPad 2 from 9.3.5. I'm just going to say 9 or 6, whatever. From 9 to 6. Wow is all I can say. It's insane how much snappier it is. Sadly, a lot of apps don't work anymore, but man, do I miss this design and performance. It's like a fresh, and this other guy says, it's like a fresh breath of air when you go back. A different design and experience, and the added performance boost is a nice addition too. I'm still using the original iPad mini with 6.1.3 on it. This device never saw the ugliness of iOS 7 Plus and never will. And looking at it, damn is it nice. What a great design. I hope I didn't read the same things multiple times. Whoops. Yeah, as of right now, iOS 6 is being signed, 6.1.3 is being signed on the 4S, like I have here, and the iPad 2. I don't think it'll last forever, so I am in a hurry to try and find a freaking... or get an iPad 2 that I can downgrade to iOS 6. I'm in a hurry. I want one. It'll probably be my next major pickup. How much does an iPad 2 cost? Just look up iPad 2. What the fuck did I see? Yeah, I've been looking for an iPhone 4 with iOS 4. There's one guy selling one for $70. I'm not spending $70 on it. As far as I'm just not. I simply just refuse to do it. But fuck, I am just telling you people the truth. I'll turn off my cellular data. Here, but we're talking badass shit. I don't know. I will be making a video on this tomorrow, or actually after I'm done with the stream and I do a few things that I need to get to. For iPad 2, I don't need it to be on any specific OS. It wants me to freaking do things with it. Shit, you're looking at $100. Pretty much flatline. iPad first generation, whatever. Which I'm fucking nuts. You guys know I'm fucking nuts. I want one with goddamn iOS 4 or lower because I want the fucking iPod app. I think that icon is fucking sick. Late 2000s as hell. Beast of bad. I wish they never got rid of that. Because it actually, having the iPod app makes it easier because it's unified, man. I don't know. iPad mini. First generation. You're looking at $100 again. Unfortunate. Maybe I'll try to get my dad to give me his to downgrade. Because damn, if it runs anything like this with that fucking screen. When did the iPad get rid of that? Okay. What am I looking for now? Shit. Or it could be an imitator. You know how you'd be an imitator? 4S has the same external design besides that band being there as 4. General. Brightest and wallpaper. Wallpaper. Click on that. Click the one with the raindrops and shit. Set both. Ta-da! I'm missing it looks like iOS 5 now. Ta-da! Still, fuck. Even without that iPod app icon, which makes it even better. It's incredible. I love it. It's awesome. It's just, I am so fucking tired and I took my pills, so I'm going a bit crazy, but at the same time, I'm going crazy over this, which is fucking badass shit. I'm going to turn it off now, but off all these iDevices here. Okay. I could actually get this on iOS 4, but it doesn't have the iPod app. That had the iPod app, but of course it doesn't work anymore. I'm going to keep this on because I might fuck with it a little bit. But just, wow. iPad 2. Damn. Original iOS 4.3. Display. Still is a 1024 by 768 screen. 3rd generation. Retina display. That's the one that got the Retina. And a better camera. This thing can only go up to 9 still. So you're looking at a fucking iPhone 4 with that OS is just great. Can't find one. It will take me a long time to find one, unless I can find a reliable. Oh shit! Did I just hit? I just saw an offer for one. No, it just said iOS. God damn it. Look up how to downgrade real quick. How to downgrade iPhone 4 to iOS 4 with Geek Grade. Oh, that's my dream phone.
Hey guys, so today I'm going to show you how to install iOS 4.0.2 on your iPhone 4. So this is a tethered downgrade, which is using Geek Grade. So every time you reboot your phone or it goes flat, you're going to need to use Redstone to activate it. So everything you need will be in the description below. So everything you need will goes flat, you're going to need to use Redstone to activate it. So everything you need will be in the description below.
Oh, I'm not doing that though. Unless I can find one with 4, then I'm fucked. I'll look at later. iPhone. Shit, what am I looking for? iPad 3. iPad 3, but I will never get that on iOS 6. But it costs. You're getting up there quite a bit. You're getting into $140 sometimes. Retina display, man. Okay. Okay. So he got a 5, a white 5 to downgrade. We got a black 4 or 4S to downgrade, which is nice. But I can get a 64 gig 4S. How impressive. Well, I'm done. Thank you. Thank you. Left. So that's my pissing match kind of video here. Pissing match kind of video. Whatever. So I guess I will catch you guys later. I'm going to turn this off because I don't know what I'm doing with it in the first place. So now I can say catch you guys later. I'll be doing a vid on these soon.